Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're looking at 4 big AI news stories that just dropped.
Yeah, a lot going on.
So let's get right into it. First up, we've got Apple jumping into the AI ring with Apple Intelligence,
It's their new personal intelligence system.
right? Rolling out on iPhones, iPads, and Macs.
All of them.
Tim Cook's calling it a new era for Apple devices.
Some pretty strong words.
So what do we know about how it works?
Well, it sounds like it's going to be more than just a voice assistant.
More than Siri?
Yeah, it's going to be more deeply integrated into the operating system.
Working behind the scenes.
Yeah, anticipating needs and making devices more intuitive.
So like Siri on steroids.
You could say that. Think about like rewriting text
Oh, wow.
with different tones, like making it more professional or more casual.
Interesting.
It'll even summarize long documents for you.
That's handy.
And Siri's getting a big upgrade, too.
Oh,
It's going
yeah.
to be more conversational.
Okay.
And you'll be able to type to Siri, not just speak.
That's actually really useful.
Mhm.
I know a lot of people who'd much rather type to Siri, especially in public.
Exactly. And get this, they're introducing intelligent photo search.
Oh.
Search your photos using natural language.
Give me an example.
Like pictures of my dog at the beach, instead of just using keywords.
That is really cool.
Anything to make finding the right picture easier.
Oh my gosh, scrolling through thousands of pictures is the worst.
I know, right?
So that alone, I think, would be a big plus for me.
And there are a couple other cool features, too.
Oh yeah,
They're adding a tool called Cleanup.
clean up.
It uses AI to remove unwanted objects from photos.
Okay.
And one of the most talked about features is you'll be able to use AI to create movies from your memories, complete with narratives.
Wow, AI making home movies. That's pretty wild. Turning random vacation photos into an actual story. I mean, that's a pretty interesting use of AI. Curious to see how that works. But with all this talk about AI and data, what about privacy? Apple's usually pretty big on that.
Yeah, definitely. And they are emphasizing that all of this is processed on device.
So your data isn't going to the cloud.
Right. It
Oh.
stays on your device.
That's a pretty big deal for privacy-conscious users.
Absolutely, especially when you compare it to how some other AI assistants handle data.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It'll be interesting to see how that affects things.
The development and capabilities.
Compared to cloud-based systems.
All right, let's move on from Apple to Meta.
Okay.
They've been relying on Google and Bing for their search functionality,
Right.
but now they're building their own AI-powered search engine.
This is big.
This is a major move by Meta.
It could really shake things up.
I mean, right now you've got OpenAI partnering with Microsoft and Google pushing their own AI advancements, and now Meta's getting in on the action.
Yeah, we could be looking at a full-blown search engine war.
A war fueled by AI.
That's right.
So how's this new search engine supposed to work? What's Meta's vision?
Well, from what we've gathered so far, they're focusing on delivering conversational answers
Okay.
about current events,
Interesting.
and it'll all be powered by their Meta AI chatbot. Same one that's going to be in WhatsApp, Instagram, and Facebook.
So instead of just getting a list of links,
You can ask a question and get a conversational response.
pulling from the web.
Exactly like having a friend who can give you the rundown of current events
Wow.
in a way that's easy to understand.
But how are they going to pull this off? Like, where's all the information coming from?
That's a good question.
Are they scraping data from the web?
Maybe.
What about copyright issues?
Well, those are definitely challenges they'll need to address
Yeah.
as development progresses.
Okay, so let's move on from established giants to a new player, this AI startup called Sierra.
I've heard of them.
Their valuation has absolutely exploded, jumping from $1 billion to $4.5 billion in just a few months.
Wow, that's incredible.
And it shows how much confidence there is in the AI sector right now.
Definitely.
What's interesting is that Sierra was founded by former leaders from Salesforce and Google.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there seems to be a trend of people leaving these big companies,
Like OpenAI.
yeah, and starting their own AI ventures.
That's interesting.
But what makes Sierra particularly interesting
Yeah, what is it?
is that they're not trying to replace human customer service agents.
Okay.
They're focusing on using AI to enhance those interactions.
Makes more personalized.
Exactly. So not automating everything, but finding ways for AI to work alongside humans
That makes sense.
in a customer service setting.
I like that approach.
Yeah, their whole approach is built around tailoring AI agents to match a brand's specific identity.
So like a luxury brand might have a very formal and polished AI agent,
Exactly.
while a more casual brand might have one that's super friendly.
Yeah, and maybe even uses slang.
That's cool. I like that.
They call it a constellation model approach.
What does that mean?
Basically, they train a supervisory AI to make sure that the AI agent's responses are accurate and consistent with the brand's voice.
So it's like injecting some personality and a human touch.
Exactly, into AI customer service, which can often feel very robotic.
Definitely.
Okay, let's move on to our final piece of news.
All right.
Robert Downey Jr. and his stance on AI replicas.
Interesting.
This one's a bit more Hollywood than Silicon Valley.
Right.
But it raises some interesting questions about the use of AI.
Especially in entertainment.
Yeah, so apparently Robert Downey Jr. is planning to sue anyone who makes an AI replica of him.
Wow.
And this is coming from someone who's invested in some AI companies himself.
I didn't realize that.
So he's drawing a line between what he considers acceptable use of AI and what's potentially problematic.
I see.
He thinks Marvel, the studio he's worked with extensively, wouldn't use his likeness without permission.
Right.
But he's worried about the future.
Future executives.
Yeah, who might not be so ethical.
That makes sense.
He's not the only one concerned about AI in Hollywood either.
No.
Quite a few prominent figures have spoken out against the potential downsides.
Like who?
Tim Burton, Wes Anderson, Guillermo del Toro.
Wow, some big names.
And they have a point.
They do.
The tech behind deepfakes has advanced so rapidly.
It's incredible.
While there are some positive applications, it's easy to see how this tech could be misused.
To create misleading content.
Yeah, or even harmful content. But hey, let's lighten things up a bit. Let's go back to Apple Intelligence for a minute. I'm really curious about how Apple Intelligence pulls off all those features.
Like rewriting text.
Yeah, and making those memory movies from our photos.
Right, right. So the key to all that, and a lot of what we're seeing in AI lately, is something called generative AI.
Generative AI?
Yeah. Unlike traditional AI, which mostly analyzes existing data, generative AI creates new content.
Oh, wow.
Based on what it's learned.
So it's like teaching a kid grammar and vocabulary, and then they start writing stories?
Exactly. That's how Apple Intelligence can rewrite something to sound more professional.
Or casual.
Right. It's learned all those nuances of language.
Wow, that's incredible.
And for the memory movies, it's using a mix of things.
Okay.
Image recognition, natural language processing, and storytelling algorithms.
All together.
Yeah, it picks out people, objects, events, and uses all that to build a storyline.
With chapters and themes. So it's not just throwing random clips together.
No, it's trying to understand the meaning.
And create a real story.
Exactly. It's like having a personal AI film editor.
That's wild.
Who creates something personal and engaging.
Now let's jump over to Meta's AI search engine.
Okay.
We talked about those conversational answers, but what's the tech behind that?
They're using what's called a large language model, or LLM.
LLM.
Yeah, they're trained on a massive amount of text data.
So they're really good at understanding language.
And generating human-like text.
Okay, is that like a super-powered version of autocomplete?
Kind of, but way more sophisticated.
Okay.
LLMs can handle complex questions, understand context, and give responses that are accurate and sound natural.
So you ask Meta's search a question.
An LLM processes it.
Finds info and then builds a response.
Exactly. Like an AI research assistant that can explain things clearly.
Okay, now Sierra, the startup with the customized customer service agents.
Yeah, what about them?
How are they using AI to create those unique brand experiences?
LLMs are at play here too, but with a twist.
Okay.
Remember that constellation model they mentioned?
Yeah, but I'd love to know more about how it actually works.
So imagine an LLM that's already learned from a ton of text.
Okay.
Sierra takes that model and trains it further.
Using data specific to a brand.
Exactly. Brand guidelines, customer interactions, marketing materials.
So they're teaching the LLM to speak the brand's language.
Exactly. Refining its understanding of the brand's tone, style, values. So when it interacts with a customer, it feels like a genuine representative.
Not just another bot.
Right. And to make sure things stay on track.
They have that supervisory AI.
Yeah, it's like quality control, making sure responses meet certain standards.
For accuracy, appropriateness, brand consistency.
Exactly, like an AI manager.
Making sure the AI agents are doing their jobs right.
That's a great way to put it.
It's a pretty cool approach.
It is.
LLMs are definitely at the heart of a lot of these advancements.
Definitely.
But I'm also curious about deepfakes.
Yeah, especially with all the concern in Hollywood.
What's the tech behind them?
Deepfakes use something called a generative adversarial network, or GAN.
GANs.
Yeah, basically two AI algorithms going head-to-head.
Okay.
One creates images or videos, the other tries to spot the fakes.
So it's like a competition.
Exactly. As they train, the generator gets better at creating fakes.
And the other gets better at spotting them.
Right, and this competition pushes both to get better and better.
So how does that lead to deepfakes?
Once the Jan is trained, the generator can create incredibly realistic content.
So it could make someone say something they never actually did.
That's the concern.
That's pretty scary.
It's powerful tech with potential for misuse.
Yeah, I see why Robert Downey Jr. and other actors are worried.
It raises a lot of questions.
This deep dive into the tech has been really interesting.
It has.
I'm starting to understand the complexity and potential of all this.
It's a lot to take in.
It is. What are your thoughts? AI is everywhere.
It really is, and becoming more so every day.
What stood out to you most from all the news we covered?
I'm most excited about the accessibility of it all.
Okay.
Like Apple putting powerful AI directly into the hands of millions.
That's huge.
Yeah, it's not just for researchers and developers anymore.
Right. Everyday people can use it now.
Exactly, and that's what could spark even more innovation.
Stuff we haven't even thought of.
Right. I'm also really interested in seeing how Meta's AI search engine evolves.
Me too. Especially with those conversational answers.
If they can deliver on that and integrate it with their social platforms.
Imagine having a personal AI librarian.
Right there at your fingertips.
Always available to answer your questions.
Yeah, that's a game changer.
But they have to address some challenges first.
Like accuracy and copyright issues with web scraping.
And then there's the whole debate about AI replicas in Hollywood.
Robert Downey Jr.'s lawsuit is just the beginning.
It brings up a lot of complex questions.
About ownership, authenticity, and creativity in the age of AI.
It seems like we're just at the beginning of this AI revolution.
Full of potential.
But also a lot of responsibility.
We need to stay informed and engaged.
And help shape the future of this tech.
Absolutely.
So to all our listeners out there,
keep exploring.
Keep asking questions and keep pushing the boundaries.
It's an exciting time for AI.
We'll be back soon with more deep dives into the world of AI.
Until then, keep diving deep.